cannot believe this.
Prepare for something shocking in round one of Norway Chess 26. Who's playing with the white pieces here? The superstar grandmaster Alireza Firouzja from France, originally Iran. He's playing against Magnus Carlsen, world number one, chess goat, goes pawn d5. What's going to happen? It's complete drama on the board here. We get ourselves a Queen's Gambit declined, standard stuff. And now after knight c3, Magnus mentions there's like 8 moves that black can play here. So many options, right? He goes through them in the confessional, something like this, and he chooses for this one. They have this confessional thing, by the way, the booth. They can give their thoughts. I'll give you some of that insight as we go. Bishop f4 looks normal. G3. But Alireza goes a3. These superstar grandmothers do what they want. Magnus now builds the pawn cube, aka the pube. Alireza shaves it, standard stuff. Now we get bishop f4 and the seahorse enters the game. This is known as a horse box or a ford a horse, many names really. e3 now from Alireza and pawn a6. Why not? These top guys do that what they want. We need h3 just to complete it, right? Bishop e2 selected here and the explosive c4 from Magnus. The clock times are on the left. He's down a bit on time already. They don't get any time added back per move until move 40. They get some extra time, so you do have to be on it on the clock. Bishop d6 is now played. Both players castle. Quick king safety fist bump. Exploded out. Great etiquette. And the bishop backs up. And Magnus talks about the fact that he underestimated the power of this plan. With f4, Alireza roars. This is known as the Pillsbury pawn structure apparently. So they told us in studio. The knight cemented on the outpost. Bishop e7 now prepares to meet bishop h4 more comfortably and opens the queen to defend this sensitive pawn, which is now immediately targeted by 2 minor pieces. Magnus carries on with his development. He's got it covered for now. There's a key line here with bishop h4 coming soon. Not this move, sorry. Rook c1, b5. You could have gone bishop e1 a moment ago. Played for g4. Alireza does it now. Bishop h4 a bit more precise apparently, but he's going for a full-blooded fight here, Alireza. The game gets complex and Magnus is now first to the pawn push, the break on the queen side. Before you can say, show us how you skip to the chess tournament, Magnus. What a wonderful guy. We now see takes. Knight recaptures looking really natural, but Magnus takes with the bishop here, and we're going to see why. Bishop h4 is now played, and due to the pressure on the centre, he gives up the legendary bishop bear just to alleviate this pressure over here. Pawn recaptures and queen d6, breaking the pin. It's move 19. Both players navigated the opening. They're alive, they're well. By the way, if you want to learn openings like the Queen's Gambit decline, the London system, use Lotus Chess. There is no better way. The link is down below. I use it pretty much every day. So much fun, honestly, and it does end games too. Get started for free. Check it out below. We now see this rook attack the pawn here, and we don't see a passive defense. Then queen a4 can come and you're in some trouble. Pressure here. White's really doing well. So Magnus finds the best response. Knight e4. It is a sacrifice of a pawn. Now you could go g4 here. Very different game. Alireza takes the pawn, which is offered, saying, hey Magnus, you take this one if you want. Then you've got a dangerous passer. Hit the queen. Now why is this no good? Well, after the queen slides over, hits the knight, and it backs up, it's actually white with the pressure now. This is very, very uncomfortable. Won't keep going down the lines, but white's doing well here with the bishops, with the pressure on the knight. This passed pawn isn't enough to compensate. Let's run back. We didn't see knight takes pawn. We saw pawn f6. Usually a very stinky move, right? Opening up the king, but it makes a ton of sense. That knight's a monster. So Alireza, does he take? Does he take? Could play those, but no. Takes on e4, giving up one of his bishops, giving Magnus this monster. But here's his point. He's rotating the knight around. Queen backs up now, breaks the pin. Knight f2. And he soon wants to run these pawns and attack the king. Or maybe bring the queen. This is his aggressive plan. But Magnus has equalised at this stage, despite being a pawn down. The knight rotates around here, anticipating takes, not yet played. Alireza starts with the queen move, rook c6, couple of rooks in the blender now, and knight takes on e4. Shatters this central structure. This could be a weakness later. Watch out for that sort of thing. What does Magnus do? Rook a1, and he plonks his noble steed in the centre. An absolute octopus staring at these two weakened pawns. This bishop's got to miserably defend, and this is what gives Magnus the compensation for the pawn which he lost on the a file. We see rook b8 activating, f5 now from Alireza, and this is really a brilliant, fantastic mix it up move. Low on time, they're both under 5 minutes now roughly. King h7 from Magnus, trying to activate this rook but not get checked and run into issues. Queen g4 though is an issue because you threaten to check that king. You pressure a pawn here, and Magnus is fine if he tiptoes correctly. This is a really difficult position to play, because if you play the move you want to play, which is knight takes, then there's check. King steps somewhere, doesn't matter too much, and now you can play this rook in, and you threaten mate. There were also issues, by the way, with queen g3, hitting two pieces that are loose. Loose pieces drop off, as they say. But this is a killer in itself. How do you stop the mate? You have to do something like this, and you've just lost an entire minor piece. So, this is the big problem. This is why you can't play knight takes on e3. This is why Magnus burns some time and plays queen d7. So he's now defending the mating threats, pressuring the pawn, but a second pawn is lost in the centre of the board. Now queen b5 is the top move here, but understanding that you can still potentially equalise there despite being 2 pawns down is so difficult. But black does have play against the white king. There can be back rank issues if you ever try and activate the rook. Magnus, however, carries on with his plan as before. We get queen g4, and again there's a massive issue. If you take this pawn, it is the best move, but only if you see that after check, king h8, rook a7, you have a move here. Now you look dead, because this is what Magnus will have seen. Takes, queen takes check, king goes, you lose a knight, and with it the game. So because of that, the whole variation with knight takes on e3 looks impossible due to this great tactic. However, there's a move here. Knight d1. I mean, even with oodles of time on the clock, this is so difficult to spot. You've taken the king's flight square. So now if white takes the black queen, this is actually a mate. Incredible stuff. So in this position, bishop d2 would have to be played, and the game rumbles on. Best move, this apparently takes. Okay, queen takes a7, and on we go, check, and so on from there. White a bit better. So this is playable, but so tough to see all of this craziness after rook a7. And if you can't play that, what do you do? It's the only path through the woods. Magnus goes king g8, and it's just a completely losing move, because Alireza steamrolls through the centre, his knight has to move, and look at the pawn again now. They're just rumbling. There's nothing to be done here. e5, and here Magnus resigns.
I cannot believe this. Resigns! Alireza Firouzja gets the win in the Classical against Magnus Carlsen.
Wow. And it was that sequence with f5. A brilliant move there.
Now the clock was a huge factor. He was basically about to lose on time, still had 2 moves to go, but basically it's really lost. Pawn takes isn't actually best. Bishop takes is, apparently. And okay, the f-pawn can run soon. White just stands significantly better here. This pin's not an issue. You can always check the king somewhere, depending on what happens. White's 2 pawns up. With the attack, exposed king should be dead lost at this level of chess. Stunning, shocking, unexpected result there. What a game it was. Do check out Lotus Chess below if you want to get on your openings, your end games, and have a look at the video on the screen if you want to see an incredible game by Magnus. Last year's Norway chess, just unreal scenes. Cheers.